Okay, my friends, it's Roger once again with another serious discussion about health. Jody is with me. She'll be talking in a moment. But what you're looking at right now is a cross section of a lung. And this is a mud fossil lung. And you can see all these little pockets and crevices that are on the surface here. That is the actual blood that flowed through these different colored crystals. Now they're crystals, but at one time they were tissues that certainly had some specific need to use this particular chemistry. And I believe each one of these little crystals being all totally different. And here's a lung that is completely coated with crystals, and that's where the air went in. It's a little tiny lung from some form of a creature, I don't know what, but lungs are lungs. They deal with air and they deal with oxygen and all the different molecules they have to expel. And now there is over 3,500 at least. Now, if you don't have these metals, they work. Of course, the reason I'm saying this is because there you're looking at a heart. A heart works with the lungs. The hearts and the lungs push these things together in these bloods. And if the blood can work its way out of your lungs through carbonic acids, you're okay. If you don't have the blood with these metals, I don't care what you put in your body, you will never be okay. These metals are absolutely essential to your life, and I'm going to go in deeper with this. But now I'm going to bring Jody in on this. Jody, are you there? I'm going to have her discuss her situation just using castor oil, because this chemistry is not. There's no big magic here. All right, go ahead, Jody. Just if you would, please, just explain what your situation was. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi. So yeah, I'm Jody, and I was diagnosed with RA this past February, and I had went to my regular doctor. He told me to go see my specialist. Sent me to a specialist with Yale, and he confirmed it that it was definitely RA, and it was really bad, really painful, a lot of flare-ups every week. It was either one of my hands, one of my elbows, one of my shoulders. And yeah, so basically he just told me, we don't know what's causing it. We don't have a cure for it. It's something you're just going to have to learn to live with. We have different medications we can try to help alleviate some of the pain and maybe less flare-ups and things like that. So anyway, I left pretty upset and not feeling too great about it. And I had been talking to Roger about the castor oil. He had mentioned that it helped a few people. So I decided to give it a shot. And I started doing it every night on a regular basis. I would coat my hands with a good generous layer of it. Either my hand, my shoulder, my elbow, whatever was bothering me. For a while, I would rotate and just do different parts of my body every night. And yeah, it was pretty much immediate that I started feeling relief. I didn't have any flare-ups. I went all summer literally with not one flare-up. And up until I would say June was probably, or maybe a little bit sooner, maybe April, May, I started the castor oil. I wish I had kept a log of it, but I just didn't know how much of an impact it was going to have. So yeah, I went all summer, not any flare-ups at all, and I started getting kind of lazy with the castor oil. So I was feeling so good. I really had just kind of forgotten about the RA. I figured, was it? I'm healed. I don't have to worry about this anymore. And so yeah, I started getting late with it. I do it twice a week, miss a week, just went off schedule with it. And I ended up having a flare up, and it was really bad. It came back suddenly, full force. It was like within hours, I was in a full flare up, all swollen up, my knuckles, my wrist. And so I went and got the castor oil right away and coated it all on me. And by the next morning, everything went down. The inflammation was down. There was no more pain. It was still tight, a little stiffness in my knuckles and joints, but by the next day, it was gone completely. So I've had, it's been amazing. It's really helped me a lot. I mean, if I continued the way I was in the spring, I wouldn't be able to work. I wouldn't be able to do anything. I couldn't do housework. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't make any commitments. It was bad.
Yeah, Jody, I'm just going to cut in on you here. You know that anybody that's been listening to us understands we've been talking about this for quite a while, well, for a while now, and trying to get this health database. That's the key to the whole thing. And without that, it's just a shot in the dark. So, as you can see, how these metals, they're right in front of you. You can see them with your eyes. There is no mysterious here. There's nothing here. So we know that these metals are very, very important. They're the transition metals that move these molecules around your body. Now, the second thing was the castor oil acts as an enzyme. So we know it's related to bacteria, enzymes, metals, carboxylation, moving things through your body. I think what happened with Jody was she put the castor oil is all carbon and a molecule cracker, a hydroxyl group, and it filled in for some of her missing chemistry. So it only helps. I mean, it's not going to cure anybody, I don't think, but it certainly works. And you know what we've heard, Jody, you Holly there, you remember her?
Yes, I read her message that she left on Facebook, and that's fabulous.
Yeah, she says she was so impressed with the immediate response that she just couldn't believe it. So she stopped, and of course she got it back again. He had a reaction, and then she put it on, and of course it fixed it again. And she still can't believe how quick and how immediate and how enormous the response was. So now she's going to try to stop it again, just to be proved to herself. And I like a person like that. I have no problem with that kind of mentality. And that is why we get such good people here doing this kind of work. Because I can't do this myself. And then Jody can't do it. And none of us can do it. And we need to gang together here somehow and get people to pay attention to what is going to make us healthy. Your kids healthy. Your parents healthy. Everybody around you is. Everybody knows somebody's sore, ill. Oh, my back, my knees. I can't walk. I got this. I go to the doctor. My meds. That's all I hear every day. Oh yeah, I'm on my meds. What meds? You don't need meds. You need to eat right, and you need to have your body take care of the things in your body. That's your meds. Anyway, you want to add anything more to this, Jody? We're going to go into this. What I'm going to do is just go into one quick thing about the database and so forth, and I'll probably break this into 2 videos because it does carry on a ways, and I know people don't have much time. But however it plays out, pay attention. Please pay attention to this. All right, and share this. Talk to other people, because people just look at it, oh, that's nice, and it never goes anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's the problem. So
yeah, you got to keep sharing it, because you would be surprised how many people around you have suffering from RA or some kind of inflammation issue. These autoimmune diseases. I think it's all linked. I think it's all related to this.
I do too. And this castor oil, it's just absolutely amazing, to be honest with you. I haven't had one person say it didn't have some form of an effect on them, and most people say it is just amazing.
Yeah.
So, and it's just something that they knew in ancient times. So, let's go past this. I'm going to jump right into talking about this, all right? All right, thanks. Pay attention, please. This is really important, because, trust me, you're going to be sore at some point. I know you know people who are sore. Just speak about it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You didn't hurt yourself. I don't think you're going to have any adverse reactions. They say it's perfectly safe. And most of the time, it's topical. You put it on the outside. You don't have to, you can drink it. Put it in your eyes, put it in your ears. I've done all of those things. And everybody I know has. Well, not everybody I know, but people that use it, they understand that it's beneficial in all that manner. As a matter of fact, did you see the one about the dog, Jody?
What's that?
About the dog's eyes? Somebody said it's a dog, well, they say that it helps with cataracts. Somebody today posted and said, I had a dog, and the dog was virtually blind. They put castor oil in their eyes, and 3 or 4 days later, the dog was out running around, could see.
Unbelievable.
That's what, and well, you know what you did with your dog Allie's paws.
Yeah, I was going to throw that in before we ended. That it's I'm keeping a log of Allie, so I'm taking pictures of it daily, and I got antibiotics. She was on these antibiotics for almost 2 years.
Yeah, Jody's dog, and most labs, and my dog does the same thing. But it's
Hers is a little worse than normal.
yeah. Her dog was pretty bad. She was on antibiotics, and she's tearing her paws up. She couldn't stop her from licking. So I said, "Well, try the castor oil." Sure enough, it stopped, and her hair is growing back, all that stuff.
The hair's growing back. It doesn't look like there's as much scar tissue. So yeah, it's really showing amazing results. I'm still in shock by it myself, how amazing it is, but it's what it is.
And she's not licking anymore.
No, yeah,
and it's really everything's growing back, and no more antibiotics.
No antibiotics. It's been a while now. I'd have to look back at my notes, but I want to say like 3 weeks, maybe a little bit more now. She's been completely off antibiotics, and I have not been able to do that for 2 years. And I've tried to take her off it by day 3. It's out of control. She's licking 24/7.
Yeah, well, my dog's had the same thing. It just happens every now and then. But anyway, I'm going to let you go. We're going to go into the presentation. All right?
Sounds good. Share away.
Okay. Okay, Roger, once again, Mud Fossil University, returning again to the health database. It has to be done. It is absolute insanity not to have a database of what is norm. Now, I know the body chemistry fluctuates quite a bit. Absolutely, no question. But there's going to be some form of norms that can be established, and they are not being established now. And we spend so much money on everything else that it just doesn't make sense not to have this. Because right now, people are sick and they're not getting better, and they're not getting better because we don't even know what better is. So somebody can make some money, save some lives, and create people's happiness and start a business called Health by the Numbers. What we need to know is what your numbers are. There's going to be hardware needed. That is the key. And eventually, if it was done right, you could have something that plugged into your iPhone. You just pinch your finger and it would send off this information. You could blow into a breath analyzer plugged into your iPhone, and it would say what's in your chemistry. Because those are carbonic acids. You got about 3,500 now, they think, or more, different things, gases that are compounds, that are molecules that come out of your body, and carbonic acids. So we need to analyze all that, because that is why you're healthy or sick. It's as simple as that. It really is. Very, very upsetting to think that this is just overlooked. Now, we need a database. That's all it is a database. We need blood, feces, urine, maybe hair, breath, whatever it is that comes out or goes into your body. It's just the way it works. There's nothing else. There is nothing else. So we put it in a database. We don't need your personal information. All of these little things, your date of birth, how old, because that's important. What sex you are, obviously important. Your race, obviously important. All health comments, obviously. This is what we're trying to find out. What are these characteristics? And then what is your blood chemistry, your enzymes, your metals? And metals is the thing that are the key. And enzymes make the metals, and bacteria makes the enzymes. And then it's all over. So I'm going to explain the whole thing. Jody and I are going to be discussing this, because this is critical that it's understood and I'm going to go right to the chemistry, and you'll understand this if you're 10 years old. I guarantee you a 10-year-old can understand this. All right, so we need to know all this chemistry. We need to know the basic history. What kind of vaccinations, antibiotics? What was your health like in your youth? Did you live in any special bad places? Did you get any bad diseases? What symptoms and comments do you have right now about your health? Then we will have a result. We'll get and establish some norms, and then we can make some relationships. What bacteria are bad, what metals are missing, and so forth. And I'm going to explain to you why this is absolutely critical. These things, and they're not being taken into consideration. They look at a handful of metals right now, and the rest of them not a concern about. I'm going to show you what they're missing. All right, I'm going to talk to you about metals and elements and all the things on the periodic chart, and there's a whole ton of them, and there is almost 100 transition elements, transition metals. And what's a transition metal? It's a metal that has a single electron embrace. Let's call it that way. It has an embrace of one electron. See, let me hold you with just one little electron, my friend, and carry you down to where somebody else will grab a hold of you. And I'm just going to so lightly hold you. Let's come with me, and when I get to an area where another guy's got a more attractive embrace, I will let you go. And then you will go there and you will do the job that guy needs you to do. And everybody works together. We're all going to be healthy. All right. So who's working with who? Who's even available? Well, this is it. You see this whole entire thing? All of this stuff is chemistry. That is all iron, magnesium, silicon, aluminum. Well, what is this numbers down here and what are these numbers up here? These numbers at the bottom are the wavelength of what the frequency that when you see this frequency on this particular number of nanometers, you know that it relates to aluminum. You know it's calcium. You know it's titanium. You know it's silicon, magnesium. Well, what else is here? You see all these other bumps? They don't have anything for this. Some of those are molecules, maybe. I don't know. But a lot of these are metals that are should be in your body. Because at one time, this earth was loaded with every single one of those bumps. And it still is to some degree. But it's only available in certain foods, and it can only be used in your body when your body reacts to these things in a specific way. And you say, well, how does it have to react? It has to be able to break it down. If you eat a chunk of aluminum, what's your body going to do? It's not going to say, oh boy, I got a chunk of aluminum. What's it going to do with that? Start banging on it and making it into a spoon or something? No, it's going to just go out of you. It's got to be broken down into like salts and little bits and pieces and cracked open to where it has a molecule in there that is so small, broken down by an enzyme, which is a chemistry set, that says, I need to break aluminum down so small the guy can use it. Otherwise, it's not going to be working. So the aluminum says, I need an enzyme. The enzyme says, okay, I'm here. Well, if the enzyme's not there, why isn't the enzyme there? If the enzyme's not there, it means the bacteria that creates the enzymes, they are the factories. They literally are the factories. It states it everywhere. The bacteria create enzymes, which are chemistry sets. And they don't live, they're not alive, they don't breathe, they don't consume oxygen, don't do anything. They're just catalyzers, and they move molecules at rocket ship speed, and they are used in your body to make these products to do the job that your body needs to have done. If they're not there, you're done. Case closed, not going to happen. So we are at the point where the enzyme has to be there. Well, the bacteria has to be there to make the enzyme. Well, what happened to the bacteria? The bacteria was there in nature, should be there. Once it's dead, you have a hell of a time getting it back in there in a good living condition where it can get back in your body and do things. And you can go downhill in a matter of hours, literally, when you lose some of these ability to work with your digestive system. And all of these kind of digestive problems they have other problems associated to them. If you cannot deal with what comes into your body and work with it in the manner that nature made, to having the bacteria, to make the enzymes, to make the products, to do the delivery service, which requires every one of these metals, because every one of these metals has a different embrace. All right, I can hold you just barely. The next guy up says, I'll hold you a little tighter. This guy up says, titanium says, I'm going to hold you as tight as I can. And a guy's going to need 7 extra electrons to get a hold of you. This guy down here says, yeah, give me 1 or 2 electrons, you can have them. This is what happens. They carry things around your body. So even like gold, I don't think they track gold in your body. They don't track uranium. It's in your body. It should be in there. If it isn't, you got a problem. All of these things are they call them trace elements. Yeah, just accidental. No. And I'll show you why. Let's talk about metalloids. All right, metalloproteins. This is an absolute critical part of your health. Every one of these metals in your body should be there, and it should be moving things around. Now, look, this is one metal. They're talking about zinc. Just zinc. Look, for instance, at least 1,000 human proteins out of over 20,000 contain zinc. Just 1,000 out of just that one. And although there may be up to 3,000 human zinc metalloproteins, that is a huge number associated to just one metal. So if that metal's not available, you're in trouble. Then you got magnesium, you got iron, you got cobalt, zinc, copper, nickel, all of these things. Now, what do they do in your body? they show them doing these certain things and this and that. Well, that's only a handful. That's almost nothing. Yeah, hold on a second. Let me show you. Oh, what are, all right, you see in here, the ones that are the metalloids are green over here. You got transition metals are the blue. All of these are transition metals. They should all be in your body. All right, that's what it was. And at one time, all of those transition metals were available out of the earth. Well, a lot of them are now missing because, you know, they've been consumed and then they flow out into the system. Now, a lot of them are contained in the salts. That's why you see everybody say, oh, Dead Sea salt, you know, all these different things. Yes, absolutely. There are all kinds of good elements and particles and metals and all these things that have flown down, you know, run down in there in the form of salts. And yes, they are good for you. But you still have to have the bacteria and the enzymes in your body to work with this stuff. That's the key. That is the absolute key. Now, let's go through what these metals do. All right, so let's start with the oxygen carriers. All right, I believe that medicine right now is missing the most important thing, which is these metal complexes. Now, they pick up a few of these metals in your body and think that that's all that's important, and it's not true. Every one of those other molecules, elements should be in your body. They have to be in your body and be able to be broken down into their most basic forms. And that's only done by enzymes and bacteria. So if these metals don't exist for whatever reason, either you're not eating the right stuff or the enzymes isn't there to break these things into an acceptable size, because they have to be in atomic size, almost literally, for your body to attach and hold on to it lightly and bring it to where it has to go. And these are the things that bring it. And I will show you, I can prove that with an opalized heart, which shows all these blood chemistry colors and how important they are. These are the things that's missing. Now, there's literally almost 100 of these different molecules or elements that move molecules in your body. If you don't have them, something is not going to get what it needs, or it's not going to be picked up and removed through the carbonic acid process through your lungs or carrying it into your excretory places. This is a human heart, had surgery, and these something's been replaced here, but these are the structures of the heart. Now I'm going to show you one that's opalized and how spectacular the colors are in it, which means that when it opalized and stabilized, it was in a wet, bloody environment, and blood contains all these different metals, and they attached to the tissues that preferred certain types of molecules and metals, and I'll show you that. All right, this was an opal heart. It's from the Yoa region in Australia, which is the highlands area, I believe, that has the terrestrial creatures, but the whole continent of Australia is literally soaked in blood. It is soaked in blood. That's why you have all these opals come from there. The ground is soaked, saturated with blood. All right, now, what happens when these preserve in that manner? Usually mud fossils, they're in mud and they're you know, clay and slippery muds and so forth, so they don't have all of these spectacular metals available. However, your tissues prefer exactly certain types of metals. So this tissue right here says, I want this color. These other tissues, the browns and so forth, they want certain colors. They attach in the fascia and the ventricle walls and all that. But this is the key. You see the red blood? That's your blood. You know, everyone knows it's red. Well, what else happens in your blood? It wants to be loaded with metals. Your blood is loaded with metals. Those metals are flowing through your body, and if they're not in your body, in the blood, You can't move all of the products that have to be moved. They just so lightly hold on to things as they bring it down through your body, and they deliver it, and they grab something else and bring it back. And it's just by that one little electron, because these are transition metals. That means that they have missing electrons in lower orbitals than your other types of elements. That means that they can just very, very, very gently hold on to other molecules in just a slightest embrace, just barely holding on. And that is what's needed in the body, because it transfers by pH, but you only float with a pH of like 7.35 to 7.45. Otherwise, you go into alkalosis, acidosis, that type of thing, where you're out of that range. And this is another thing we need a database for, to see what range you're in there. Because one of them means you don't have enough of a certain type of thing, and one of them means you have too much of something else. It's going to fall into a pattern of enzymes, bacteria, and so forth. And then the products. I mean, that's how it works. The bacteria makes the enzymes make the products. You can eat anything you want. You can eat every little healthy thing you want. But if it just goes in and back out, you just wasted your time. If you don't have the guys in your body to say, okay, what did the guy bring in today? Well, you got this, you got that, you got some copper, you got some sulfur, you got some this. We need all that stuff. Okay, we'll go send the guys out to break it down into the sizes that I can send it around to the blood. Because the blood can't hold on to that. It can't hold on to that big chunk. It can just barely hold on to one little piece, never mind that big gigantic piece. Plus, how's the body going to work with that? We need a little bitty piece. Go out and make a little bitty piece. Now, if the enzyme is not there to go, it's like a hammer. It goes out, smashes up these molecules. Okay, I'm coming in there. I'm going to crack you into a million pieces. And when I'm done with you, I'm going to hit every one of them that's like you, because I'm going to do this so fast. It does it 10,000 times a second. Enzymes work like rocket ships. And then when they're done doing their job and there's nothing else to break up, your body just methylates them. It consumes them. But again, everything has to be dissolved, destroyed, worked with. The chemistry has to happen. But then it has to be moved. That's where the transition metals come in. That's where these colors come in. If you don't have these colors, you will not have these transition metals. If you do not have the transition metals, I don't care what you eat, your body will not have what it needs to function. All right, I don't want to get too deep into the chemistry because people get lost or they get disinterested. But I keep saying transition metal, transition metal, transition metal. Then I say carboxylation, carboxylation. Now, all they're talking about is CO2. They don't think about all the other things that you're blowing out of your lungs, which is 3,500 different other complexes. Now, so what do they say about this? Transition metal catalyzed carboxylation reactions with CO2 have been reviewed. So they looked into it with CO2, but they do the same thing. The transition metal catalyzed carboxylation reactions. I don't care what the rest goes, because it's 3,500, and you need the chemistry in your lungs to work with those. And the colors of the chemistry in your lungs, which I'll show again, because I have cut open lungs here that are mud fossils. The reaction mechanism and the role of metal complexes have been discussed. Ligands are important in most of these catalytic systems. Obviously, ligands are the things that attach to the metal complexes and get dragged around the body. Metal-carbon bonds are key intermediates for CO2 insertion. Well, they're key for every type of metal molecule insertion. It's not just the one. Those are with the iron stuff for CO2. Those are high hemoglobins and things. There's all kinds of different metals. Metal carbon bonds. I didn't say iron carbon, it's a metal carbon. So CO2 is just, that's all they're looking at. Transition metal complexes play a key role in catalytic carboxylation reactions with CO2 in every metal. Various metal complex catalytic systems have been developed for the carboxylation of different substrates. See, now they're talking about what I'm talking about. Various metal complex catalytic systems have been developed for the carboxylation of different substrates. Those are the different things you eat that provide versatile methodologies for green organic systems synthesis. now they're talking about how to, they're going in a different direction, but I'm talking about getting rid of. So this review summarized recent develops carbon. They're trying to get rid of carbon dioxide using transition metals. Well, I'm trying to get rid of all the things that are in your body that are bad for you using transition metals. Now this goes back 3 years or so. Anyway, I've gone through a lot of this stuff. Let's see quickly here. This is these are about amino acids and back to what proteins, how they work, and then carbonic acid. And this is what transfers everything out through your body. This is what gets the stuff out of your carbonic acids. They're weak, and I mean, I don't want to go into the chemistry because it gets too involved, but it's very, very, very simple, really, when you get down to the role of carbonic acid in blood, role of carbonic acid in ocean chemistry, acidity of carbonic acid, the pHs of how these things move back and forth. They're reversible. Pure carbonic acids. One believed that carbonic acid could not exist, and so forth. Anyway, I'm telling you, we need the database. Once we have the database, we can tell how much of all these things you have in your body. If you don't have them there, I don't care what you do. I don't care what they give you. I don't care how nice they are to you. I don't care if they give you candies when you leave. It is not going to help you if you don't have the metals in your body to move this chemistry around your body. End of story.